You've mentioned this process called channeling a couple of times, Doreen. For anyone that isn't familiar with that term, we have seen this become very popular, haven't we, with huge selling books like Jesus Calling. Tell us what these people are actually claiming to be doing and what the dangers are.
Yeah, that's what I used to do when I was in the New Age, David. I had, as I said, 70 books and card decks. Unfortunately, some people still sell them, and now there's bootleggers because you can't get my books and cards. And so there's printers in India and China who are printing them illegally. Anyway, so there's different types of channeling. One is a form of taking dictation where you're consciously aware, and that's what Helen Schuckman was doing. She was hearing a voice and writing it down. That's similar to the process that another man I used to tour with, Neil Donald Walsh, says that he heard the voice of God and wrote a series of books called Conversations with God. And his God, which is not our God, not the real God, his God said that there's no such thing as absolute right or wrong, and promoted relativism, which means that what's right to me might not be right to you, and we can do our own thing as long as we're positive and kind, and just gives license to the flesh, which is sinful. And yeah, so what I was doing was called trance channeling. And it's similar to Abraham Hicks, who was popularized in The Secret, Esther Hicks, who I used to tour with also, and myself. We would kind of not be aware of our surroundings or the amount of time or ourselves, and we would allow a spirit to come through us, and we thought we were safe because we're doing a prayer of protection. Now, Esther Hicks, as of this moment, has not repented for that. I'm sure praying for her, because she is channeling for The Secret really popularized her. She's channeling a group of what she calls entities that they call themselves Abraham. And they say they're not the Abraham, the patriarch, but then they also say, they talk about Sarah, who was, of course, the patriarch's wife. And the Abraham entity group teaches people how to get rich, how to think and grow rich. And that's not what the patriarch ever talked about. I mean, God did bless him with a lot of, cattle and such. So he was taken care of materially. But this Abraham of late, popularized by Esther Hicks through trance channeling, is not teaching anything biblical. She's teaching covetousness and materialisticness and just try to go for your goals all the time. And there's nothing wrong with having, aspirations, as long as they are godly and that it's glorifying to God, and God will use you according to his will.